Hello and welcome to this edition of Face to Face. I'm Human Abedi, and in this program, I'm going to have an interview with Iran's Energy Minister, Dr. Reza Ardakanian, who is here with us to share his thought with us. Dr. Ardakanian, thank you very much for accepting Press TV's invitation. Please explain, as the first question, please explain in general about the achievements of your ministry, especially after the victory of the Islamic Revolution back in 1979 in the field of water and electricity supply to remote areas of the country.
Thank you very much for inviting me, and it's a pleasure to be with you and the people, watching us this time. Ministry of Energy in Iran is in charge of water and electricity. In general, means thermal power plants, hydropower plants, and renewable energy. And when it comes to the water, it's about constructing and managing large dams, as well as irrigation and drainage networks. Also distributing water for different sectors, for domestic, in urban and rural areas, also for agriculture, for industries, and providing water for environmental protection. My ministry also collects wastewater and try to treat them and reusing treated wastewater. So all in all, this ministry deals with each and everyone in the country, in urban areas, in rural areas, and day and night we have to provide enough safe and clean and secure water as well as electricity for the whole population. 42 years ago, when Islamic Revolution came on stage, and we started to serving our people in different way. That time, the installed capacity in terms of power plants was just about 7,000 megawatts in the country. And nowadays, while population is 2.3 times, the installed capacity of power plants is about 12 times than that time. So it means that we have achieved a good level of progress as well as facilities, not only for domestic purposes, but also for development of the country in different areas because of the role of energy as an infrastructure. Also, we have started recently working on renewable energies in terms of wind and solar. For sure, 42 years ago, it was zero. And now we have about 870 megawatts of solar and wind renewable energy. And in terms of hydro, also we have established many large dams with hydropower facilities, and I think it's more than 12,000 megawatts, while this number was less than 2,000 40 years ago. This has provided us a good infrastructure in the country, and also in terms of water, if we look at the statistics worldwide, this time in the urban areas, the coverage in the world is about 96%. For electricity in Iran is 100%. And in rural areas for electricity, the coverage worldwide is about 79%. In Iran is 99.7%. So it means almost each and everyone in the country has access to electricity. When it comes to the water, the situation even is more brighter. And I may say 42 years ago, we had just 4 wastewater treatment plants in the country located in 4 major cities, and none of them was able to cover the whole city. And I think less than 2 million population were covered by wastewater treatment plants. Just a few days ago, our president inaugurated, among many other projects, one of the high-tech wastewater treatment plant in Kurdistan province in Kamyaran. And it was number 246, means that we have designed and constructed and operated 242 wastewater treatment plant during these 4 decades. But most of the progress came during the last 7-8 years. And now we are in the position of reporting that every month we are inaugurating one wastewater treatment plant. Every 2 months we are inaugurating one water treatment plant. And every 50 days, less than a month, during the last 7 years, we have inaugurated and operated a new large dams. So this means that Iran is in a good shape in terms of infrastructure for water and electricity.
Thank you very much, and thank you for your thorough answer. Would you please tell us more about the progress of the Ministry of Energy in recent years in terms of export of energy, especially, electricity to other countries?
So when we have established power plants 12 times than it was 40 years ago, while the population has been increased just less than 2.5 times. It means that we have invested a lot for the network. So we are in a good location in terms of geography. We have good connection with all neighboring countries. I may say from southeast with Pakistan, then Afghanistan, Turkmenistan, Armenia, Azerbaijan, Turkey, Iraq, which with each and every neighboring countries, we have electricity connection. Exporting, importing, it depends on the time of the year. In some cases, we are just exporter. In some cases, we have transaction of energy in different months of the year. And we think that in the near future, we may also bring renewable energy in this network to be exported to the neighboring countries. We have announced to all investors in private sector that we provide them permission and access to our network, that they export their own, say, electricity generated by wind towers and solar panels to the neighboring countries based on the contracts they sign with them. So I think right now we are in a good shape. If ourselves do not need electricity, we can, provide it to neighboring countries. And in some cases, we are importing when we need them.
Thank you. Today we are witnessing the export of technical knowledge of Iranian specialists abroad. Can you please elaborate that in which countries we have implemented or we are implementing projects both independently or jointly with other countries?
Look, in the world, usually they remember Iran as a country with major sources of oil and gas as the source of wealth in this country. But in reality, our major wealth is our human resources. And if we utilize this source in a right way in terms of education, training, and using human resources in the right places, I think we are good enough not only to respond to the needs of our country, but also we may have a major role in development and progress of the region. As you mentioned, many Iranian contractors and consulting engineers right now are active in the region, even outside our region. They are working in Africa, and they are winning the bids for major projects in terms of designing and building large dams, hydropower plants, thermal power plants. It's now, I believe, 6 years consecutively that Ministry of Energy of Iran means that water and electricity sector in Iran is in the first place in terms of exporting technical services and engineering services worldwide. So we have thousands of companies now are active in building equipments in energy sector, and many companies both in consulting engineering area as well as contractors working on large dams, on designing and constructing water and wastewater treatment plants. This is another source for employment and also for a good level of friendship and connection, especially with the neighboring countries.
Can you please tell us the name of some of these countries that currently Iran is implementing?
So we have worked and we are working in Iraq, mainly in the energy sector, while also in other part of development in Iran. In Iraq, Iranian companies are active. Minister of Energy now, based on the decision of the Iranian government, is in charge of Joint Economic Commission between Iran and different countries. I myself am in charge with Iraq, with Armenia, Russian Federation, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, as well as state of Qatar in the region, and some other countries like Sri Lanka outside our region. So in Iraq we have major projects, mainly in the energy sector, but also in other part in construction of sport fields as well as dams construction. In Tajikistan, we have constructed hydropower plants, also working on the road construction and connecting different parts of the countries in terms of using TBMs for tunnel projects. In Sri Lanka, the Iranian companies have designed and constructed and operated a major hydropower plants. Soon will be officially inaugurated by officials of both countries. In Africa, many Iranian private sector companies are active in different projects.
Very well. Dr. Ardakanian, many say that the world's future war would be over water. And in face of water scarcity across the globe, what are the Energy Ministry's mechanisms to cope with this issue?
If many say and talk about war on the water, so it means that not all the people, and some of them do not talk about the war, and I am among those people who are not a believer in the war on the water. And instead, I think that those people who are talking about the war on the water in the future, they are somehow paving the way for some potential conflicts. and they want to normalize this issue of conflicts on the water, then they go for fishing themselves out of these potential conflicts. But regardless of this argument, Iran is in a very unique situation worldwide in terms of shared water and interboundary basin issues. We have many countries in the world that they are living in the interboundary basins in terms of water and sharing water with their neighboring countries. But they all are either upstreamer or downstreamer. If they are downstreamer, like for example in MENA region, like a big country like Egypt, they know what to do as a downstreamer, right? And this position affects on different area in terms of even engineering, mathematical modeling, and so on. And some countries are upstreamer, and they know how to deal with the issue. But Iran is a country that is upstreamer, at the same time is a downstreamer. In the east part of the country, we are in the downstream of interboundary basin with our neighbors, Afghanistan. In the west part of the country, we are in the upstream of the basin with our neighbor, Iraq. Also, we have shared rivers in the north, northeast, northwest. We have Harirud River with Turkmenistan. We have Aras River with Armenia and Azerbaijan. So it means that Iran is in a very unique situation in terms of dealing with different aspects of the shared water and living in the interboundary basin. Is this a challenge? Yes, but also it's an opportunity. And if we do things in a correct way, if we rely on water scarcity as a source of being closer and closer and working on it as an opportunity for friendship and cooperation, then we come to the point to say that either a scarcity of water or somehow droughts and this kind of climate situation is not a source of being worried when it comes to dealing with the neighboring countries. We can open new chapters and working with our neighbors to share benefits and cost of water. We can look at the water as a source of cooperation. When we have flood, when we are facing droughts, both of them can be used as the reasons to work closer with the neighboring areas. So recently we have started to establish a national center for shared water and interboundary basin issues to, improve the level of cooperation, first of all, at the national level between different ministries and authorities, and then going to our neighboring countries and offering many different projects for cooperation. So in the long run, I think we can take advantage of water scarcity in our region to work closely with our neighboring countries and share whatever of the knowledge and experience and technical expertise that we have with our neighbors. And I think it will help us to overcome the negative aspect of water scarcity. So all in all, I do not believe in war on water.
And are all of our neighbors willing to cooperate in this regard?
When it comes to development, we should know that the main aspects of development is the human resources development. I mean, building dams, power plants, road, and other facilities and infrastructures alone is not the sign of development. The major and main development aspects in the mind of the people. That's why that right now in the world they do not divide the regions or the countries to developed and developing. And they talk about people. Either I am a developed citizen worldwide or I am a developing. So we have to invest and work more on education and training. And I'm sure that in our region with lots of cultural connection that we have with our neighbors, we can build upon that bridge and work together. I may say that we have good sign of interest from our neighboring countries working together, and so the people should not be worried about that.
I do really appreciate your full comments, Dr. Ardakanian, and on behalf of the Press TV crew, I wish you all the best in your career.
Thank you.
Well, that's it for this edition of Face to Face. I'm Houman Abedi. See you next time.